So if someone's a millionaire or a billionaire and you're a zeroer, and you're nearly there and you want to get there, then asking the millionaire or the billionaire, they've probably got the right kind of context for you because they're where you want to be. So to simplify the question, I would say find people who are where you want to be because their context will be the most similar to you. For example, I've written a section in my book. I'll actually read it out to you if I can dig it out because it's a context-based answer. People always ask me, Rob, I've got money to invest. Where should I invest it? And that question is very context dependent. So let's see if I can dig it out. I'm actually on the last chapter. It might take me a minute.
A world exclusive. We're getting a sneak peek of the upcoming material.
You are going to get a world exclusive. Here we go. So yeah, I get asked thousands of times, where should I invest my money? But it depends on, number one, your age. If you're 18 versus 65, that's going to be a different place. Your attitude to risk, how many times have you failed before? How much are you prepared to lose? The capital amount you have, if you've got 1,000 or if you've got 1 million, that's a completely different answer. The percentage of your net worth that you want to invest, whether you're defensive or aggressive, how long you want the capital deployed before you want it back, your existing knowledge or experience in any other asset class. Do you want capital, equity, or income? Do you want fully passive, or do you have time to invest? Is it personal money you're investing, i.e. tax paid, or company money, pre-tax? That's a big caveat, context. Do you want dual use? So I invest in watches, but I get the dual use of wearing and enjoying them. I don't get a dual use in my stock portfolio. It's just an investment. Tax breaks. What are the tax breaks available in the investment? What location are you investing in, especially in real estate? And then what stages of my 4Ms are you in terms of making, managing, multiplying, or maintaining money? So this is maybe why I'm better at long form content than short form content. Because if someone said, how do I invest? That's not going to be good for a TikTok video or an Instagram story. But if you ask yourself those 14 questions, you're probably going to answer the question yourself better than I could answer the question for you. Because again, it's context related. But you're better off asking someone like me, who has, I've done over 200 million in sales in the last 17 years, than someone who's broke.
It's a good start. And especially with the TikTok era, there's a lot of financial gurus popping up with those 14 seconds infomercials about how everything should work in such a simple way. You just look at the candles. When they're green, you invest, and it's like, hold on a second. So I'm glad that you're actually bringing up that nuance, and it sounds like your book's really going to go into the things we need to ask ourselves before we make those kinds of decisions. So, wow, you've made a whole lot of sales in your career, and you've went in so many different industries. And I'd just be curious to know, like, you were in the property game, and I believe that's mostly where you started a lot of your sales and a lot of the work that you did that got you to this financial success. But you started going into media, like you're running this podcast, and this is a huge podcast. And I'm just curious, like, what was that decision-making point where you could decide to be super focused and being like the real estate guy, and that's what you do, to just now being someone who's also a media, you're an author, and you really expanded in a lot of things that, you could think, wow, that seems like a diversification of your expertise when you could have chosen one path. I'd just be curious to know what your thought process around that was.
There's a few. And some of them were things I learned along the way that I would never have known before I start. So this is why I wrote my book, Start Now, Get Perfect Later, because so many people are waiting to be perfect before they start. They don't get going. And often where you end up is not where you thought you would end up. But you only get there when you have momentum through movement. I'm not going to sound all smart that I had it all planned out. Though what I will say is this, Jason, and it goes back to our mission versus money question, the first question you asked. Property is the money, but it's not the mission. And when I started in property, I was broke. I was 50 grand in debt, and I wanted to get out of debt. And, it seemed that all the successful rich people were in property, so it seemed like a logical place to start. I didn't really know how, but I knew that there was a deep why. And I got into property and got myself out of debt and made my first 100 grand. And then I made my first million by age 31. But by that time, I realized that dealing with tenants and boilers, and lawyers and construction workers, that wasn't the mission, but it made the money. And, I think where a lot of people suffer or don't succeed is that clash of mission and money. And sometimes they follow the mission, but there's no money. And sometimes they follow the money, but there's no mission. So I'm at the point now, let's say 4 years into the journey, where I've become a millionaire and property is making me those millions in multiple streams of income. But there's a greater calling and a greater mission that's unfolded itself, which I didn't know when I started, Jason. And that was financial education. So, I feel frustrated that they didn't teach me what I now know about money in school. I don't think that so many people need to be as broke and as poor as they are, but I think that the system hides good financial education from them. And I also realized that I don't particularly like dealing with tenants and boilers and construction, but I love teaching, training and educating and sharing, the message about money, especially as in the UK, there's such a social faux pas around talking about money openly. It's like it makes you, even in religious dogma, the love of money is the root of all evil. It's just through society in the UK. And people have often said to me, Rob, you're more like an American than an Englishman.
I wasn't going to say it, but you did.
Thank you. So, I've learned most of the good stuff I've learned on money and mindset is from my American friends and peers. My style is maybe more American than English. And I guess I live an American dream in England. So I guess that makes me a little bit different in the UK, because I think we need some of that American entrepreneurial, American dream influence in the UK. What I found along my journey is I love the money that property makes, but it doesn't fill the soul. What does fill the soul is at a higher level, money and entrepreneurship. But property is a key component of that. So what I did was I started to branch out without turning my back on what had made me my millions. So I write about this concept called cross-stream leverage. And look, I don't proclaim to have all the answers, but there are some nuances I've learned which I think can make a real difference to listeners who want to be entrepreneurs and want to build multiple streams of income. And when you start and you think of the idea of multiple streams of income, maybe you think about unrelated business models, or maybe you think about starting 5 businesses in one go. The problem with starting 5 businesses in one go is you become a master of none. And the problem of 5 unrelated business models is you've got to learn 5 unrelated business models. You don't do 5 degrees at once. You only do 1 degree at college or university. But cross-stream leverage is where you get good at one vocation and you create multiple streams of income from that one vocation. And this is the technical difference. So I got good at real estate. I'm good at buying real estate for myself. I'm good at selling it to others. I'm good at writing books on it. I'm good at running courses on it. I'm good at building management companies on it. I'm good at developing and converting. And so I've created maybe 8 or 9 different income streams from real estate. And so when I realized that real estate gave me the money, but not the mission, I focused on mission, but still within the realm of real estate, which to me, real estate is business. So I was able to stay without turning my back on it because I realized it's just business. That's the story of mixing the mission and the money and growing and evolving and creating multiple streams of income. And importantly, knowing thyself. So my business partner loves the, mnemonic, focus, follow one course until successful. Whereas I love variety. Variety is one of, if not, variety and growth are my 2 almost highest personal human needs. We focus in real estate, but I get my variety needs met by doing podcasts and writing books and doing interviews and having a YouTube channel and creating multiple streams of income from the one class.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.